And finally, I'm trying out with full Realism Overhaul and the SSTU mod. It's the same mod I used in my recent series to fly the Altair-like craft to the moon, to the surface and back, and just using it to test things out here. So you see my RAM usage has certainly increased because I have full real fuels and everything installed. You can see by all the chemicals going on here. And it's not perfect. I didn't throw it on here, but it's just I didn't throw the escape tower on. But it's just a test craft, and I'm not using Anyway, just a basic test craft. So I also wanted to show off an issue I have here. I'll probably post this to see if anybody can suggest what the issue is. But let me just disable that. So something about these SSTU has these really nice auto decouplers for solid rockets built in, but it no matter what, like if I increase amongst the cool features of all the other parts in SSTU, they can be resized, so I could in theory use these decouplers for larger solids, larger gauge solids, or large liquid boosters. I can also increase the height of these two straps that hold it on. But right at launch, I'm not sure what exactly causes it, whether it's the gimbal thrust of the solid rockets here or what, but they wobble as if I don't have KJR, Kerbal Joint Reinforcer, installed. So I'll probably ask what is causing that issue, because they wobble, because they're about 0.8 tons, like maybe. I'm not sure if KJR correlates to how heavy the part is about how strong the connection is, or maybe I need to change the node size for the attachment of it. Something like that is probably necessary to get that to attach, but it's compared to kind of my priority for getting a bunch of the other parts in SSTU properly configured, that was lower on my list. But since I'm recording this test with actual Realism Overhaul and SSTU here in my Pingopete based version of RVE. So this is, I believe it's pretty much, my setup here is exactly the same as in my previous video. I just, in terms of graphic stuff, let's see, clouds, yep, I still have these two cloud layers, I still have scatterer set up exactly the same way, and so, this is just a test with Realism Overhaul actually put on, and real fuels and all the other mods that comes with, and an actual playable mod added in. So as you can see, my memory usage is really high. I can probably, there's memory leaks, and you throw enough mods together, you start to get little memory leaks, and whoa, starting to wobble again. So if I revert, like let's say this were to fail and I were to launch again from the surface, that memory usage would creep up a bit. I'd lose like 50 megs or up to 200 megs, some good chunk of RAM in memory leaks in that revert. So effectively, I could launch one or two craft before the game's going to crash by running out of memory. So this isn't a playable version for me to regularly play. Maybe it's good enough that I could make videos with this as my visual tool instead of the other version of Eve RVE I was using for that previous series. But I'd probably want to do a bit of pruning. Maybe, so strategies would include cutting out one of those texture layers. What if I'm okay with just the main clouds and not the cirrus ones? So let's actually just look. Cirrus, it might hang when I do that. Here, let me go. Oh, I don't want to close that menu necessarily. I do want to apply that. So see, if I just have the one layer apply, might hang for a moment, but is that worth it, just cutting down to the one layer? Or if I want to keep both layers, so it didn't save me memory immediately, but if I were to do that and then save, so when I reboot, I can see how much memory that's going to save me. Is that worth it? Should I delete the textures for that layer, or should I look for a lower resolution? Whoa. Should I look for a lower resolution version of those clouds and scale them a little differently? Now at this point I'd have to decide what tricks I want to use in order to make this go from technically bootable and playable for a couple of flights to a regularly playable graphics mod. So that would be my decision. And of course the reason why you want these on the side is this one-click simple separation. It's really really nice. One part to attach as well as to push them away. let's see, I suppose I can pop this off, jettison side panels. Oh, there we go. That should be 3, not 4, but yeah, I haven't got around to refixing that, setting that back to 3. But yeah, so it, as you can see, I can, despite the fact that Pingopete's version says you can only do it in Linux 64, if you prune, if you just take the RVE folder from his, you could do this without scatter, although I definitely like what scatter adds. I just used the standard version of scatter configured for RSS and a little bit of tweaks. And I didn't change for his skybox or anything, so you can get a lot of the advantage of Pingopete's RVE with a Windows 32 install. I'm just running OpenGL. I did some tests, ATM, since this is my concluding video for the tests anyway, for the day. Let's see, I tried ATM, Texture Manager, it didn't save me anything. I think my suspicion or understanding was that it might only save memory if you use DirectX 9. And yeah, definitely didn't save me anything with OpenGL or DX11. What else? DirectX 11 used a little more memory, and because I'm so close to the edge of running out of memory, this was I'd rather stick with OpenGL because it looks it's good enough for me. But yeah, so I could, if you're okay with just being able to have 1 or 2 parts mods installed and only be able to fly 1 or 2 times before having to reboot the game to get rid of the memory leaks, then you could totally install Pingopete's new version of RVE. Just do what I have done. Watch all the videos I did today with Pingopete's, and you'll see how to run it this way. So thanks for watching. I hope you've at least got to see what I've got set up here with RVE for KSP 1.0.5, and hopefully you can reproduce what I have here if that was your goal of watching these. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Like if you liked it, etc. Yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.